What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm here bringing you my next deck profile, and it's going to be one of my favorite decks, which is Monarchs. With the ban list coming up, I know Pantheism's going to come back in some kind of way, but I thought I'd just bring the deck to y'all with the way that I'm playing it. It's just the deck itself, just for fun. No side deck or anything. You could take this to like your locals just for fun for a box tournament or something. But it's just a fun deck all around, super cheap. If you're looking to try to learn Yu-Gi-Oh, this is a pretty good deck to do it, honestly. No extra deck, so it's pretty easy just to jump into the deck. But let's just go ahead and get into it. So we're going to go ahead and show off 3 Aether. Probably your best Monarch monster, in all honesty. If you don't know what Monarchs do, essentially Aether is able to be tribute summoned by tributing a tribute summon monster, or you could just, tribute summon 2 monster summoner, whatever. But her effect is that you could send 2 Monarch spell or traps to the grave and special summon a 24 1000 or 28 1000 from deck to field, but at the end phase return it. So it's pretty good if you can understand where that comes from. A lot of times if you open her up and you just need another one in hand, you can summon her, summon another Aether, end phase, get Aether back to hand, just some standard stuff there. Aether being one of the better ones that just recently came back to 3. It's just super nice to have her back at 3. This makes the deck a lot better, in my opinion. But yeah, 3 Aether, just have to kind of play it whenever you're playing Domain Monarchs. Triple Erebus. This card's really good, actually. Essentially the same way that Aether works with the whole tribute summoning thing. And also with the send 2 spell or traps, but instead he can shuffle Monarchs from the field, hand, or grave, I believe. It's those 3. You could choose any of those. Once you send this, you could shuffle it. He also has the secondary effect of being able to shuffle back 24 1000 and a 28 1000 while he's in the grave. It's like his option. You can recycle him. Also forgot to mention, Aether has the effect of being able to summon herself out on your opponent's turn by banishing 1 Monarch spell or trap from your graveyard. I thought I'd just go ahead and throw that in there since I kind of forgot. Moving on to our final big Monarch, Teslos. You can run another one if you wish, but I think Tesla's pretty good because it lets you look at your opponent's hand and just make them discard a card. And if it's a monster, they take damage times 200 of the level or 100 of the level. I think it's 200 for the level, I think. But he's just super good. He's your final big Monarch that you're really playing, so just really good. Final Monarch is Kiraz. Actually, you usually summon this off your Aether to then pop like a card you control and Kiraz to draw to, but sometimes you could use it to pop a card on your opponent's field and Kiraz, which does give your opponent a draw, but sometimes it's just kind of necessary. Sometimes. For like a Fiend lineup, we're playing 2 Majesty Fiend and 1 Vanity's Fiend. I know Majesty Fiend's searchable, which kind of, it's a weird ratio to see, but honestly, I think Majesty Fiend is better than Vanity's Fiend right now, just because sitting on Domain and Vanity's Fiend isn't that good. When you could sit on a Majesty Fiend and a Domain, and it'd be so much better. Just because Domain's already locking them out of their extra deck. That's good enough right there. And then Majesty Fiend just not allowing them to use their monster effects. So it makes it a little bit harder to get around that Domain. So they're going to have to get around Domain and a Majesty Fiend, which I think is a lot harder to get around than just getting around a Vanity's Fiend and a Domain. As for our small people that we tribute away, Triple Adia, too good, honestly. Triple Eidos, and finally a Mithra. You don't have to play the Mithra. You could just play 3 Adia and 3 Eidos, but I like the 1 extra tribute card. So basically, Adia can, whenever she's normal summoned, she can special summon Eidos, and then whenever Eidos is summoned, he can give you an additional tribute to your normal, which is where you kind of see how you're just going to be putting out 1 monster, maybe a back row, and a Domain while passing, which isn't a whole lot in this format, but it is a fun deck to play, don't get me wrong. And then like if he's in the grave and she's in the grave, you can banish him to summon her from the grave to then get her effect to summon another one. And if she goes to the grave, you can add a banish, mark, spell, or trap. It's pretty simple with those right there. Mithra is just a free special summon. She just says special summon to your side of the field and special summon a token to your opponent's side of the field. That could be an advantage if you're going against like a Sky Striker or something. Because once you summon the Mithra, you give them a token, and then that just shuts off all their spells. They have to get rid of that Thunder token before they can continue with their Striker plays. So that can slow them down, depending on how they're playing their Striker build. And whenever you tribute her away, you get an additional tribute to your normal. So whenever you special her, let's say you tribute summon for a monster, you can then normal summon the 80th, and then special summon the Eidos, and then get another tribute. It's just really good, honestly. So it allows you to tribute more than once in a turn, basically. That should do it for the monsters. Now we're on to the spells. 3 of the best card in this build, which is Domain, because we're playing Domain Monarchs. You just want to lock your opponent out of the extra deck and give them a hard time, basically. So Domain, you can reveal your bigger Monarchs to make them smaller, like in level, to make them easier to summon. And while you have no extra deck, your opponent can't special summon from the extra deck while you control a tribute summon monster. And I believe it says whenever tribute summoned monster attacks another opponent's monster or something like that, it gains like 400 or something. It just makes them slightly bigger. That's really about the biggest things that Domain do for you. Just locking your opponent out of the extra deck, making it easier to summon, and making your Monarchs or whatever you have tribute slightly bigger. Now, 3 of probably the best card until Pantheism comes back to 2 or 3, and that's Tenacity. The reason I say Tenacity is like your best spell in the deck is the fact that it can add the Pantheism to hand, it can add your March to hand, it can add your Erupt to hand, it can add any of your Monarch spell traps, which I think is why it's the most powerful right now until Pantheism comes back to at least 2 or 3. Then Pantheism will probably be the better one. I mean, Pantheism's still good, but I think Tenacity is just better right now with Pantheism at 1. So Pantheism, you just have to reveal a like 28 1000 or 24 1000, and then you just get to add any Monarch spell or trap, which is pretty simple. You just reveal a monster, add what you need, and continue with your plays. 3 Stormforth, this card's insane. It allows you to just pretty much tribute away your opponent's monster for your own monster, which you kind of see how that's a little broken where it comes to the Aether effect, because Aether allows you to summon on your opponent's turn, and you can see where Stormforth and Aether become a good combo that can just help you so much to where you could just wait for the right moment to activate your Aether effect and then chain your Stormforth to then get rid of your opponent's main monster that they're trying to build up for or anything like that, and just interrupt them, which is just super nice. And that's why this card's so good. Even if you, let's say you lose die roll or something, Stormforth's still going to come in handy with just being able to just tribute away one of your opponent's monsters. Then we're also playing 2 Return. I feel like this card's fine at 2. I don't want to play it. I wouldn't want to play it at 3. It just seemed too much of a brick, honestly. I just don't want to really open up more than one copy of this or anything like that. It's good to have because it could add your Aether, yes, but like I just don't want to risk opening up more than one of it, because once you add the Aether at least once, it's not really as relevant as it would be whenever you activate it the first time. So that's just kind of like my thing. I just don't really want to draw into too many of them. Yes, it can fuel your Pantheism and stuff, but like, I don't know. I just think it's fine at 2. Then of course you're playing the 1 Pantheism, because we kind of have to. It's at 1. You get to send a Monarch spell or trap, then simply draw a card, draw 2 cards. I mean, you send a Monarch spell or trap, draw 2 cards. That's why this card's pretty good. And the fact that you can banish it from the grave, reveal 3 of any Monarch spell or trap, and your opponent picks 1. That effect is good, yes, and it does get you like your Domain or your Stormforth to your hand, because you just reveal 3 of the same thing, and boom, you got it. But I think the fact that you could just draw 2 is so much to really think about, to really see if you think about it. So yeah, basically pot of greed for the deck. We're also playing one March. Uh, I don't see many decks running March. I like March because it can protect your tributes from like card effects and stuff. So just being able to give your tributes a little bit more protection and making it harder for your opponent to just get over is just nice. One Rhoda, it adds your Adia. One Force Burial Goods, you could send your Pantheism or your Prime or whatever you need to send. One Celestial Observatory, you put a level 6 at the bottom of your deck and draw 2 cards, so it's another draw card basically. Traps, we're playing 3 strike, just saying no to monster effects is nice. I know we're playing like Majesty Fiend and stuff, but if you don't get it up and they try to like Phoenix away your domain, you're like, nah. 2 Prime, super nice. Whenever it's in the grave, you can special it back by banishing a Monarch spell or trap. And if you set it and flip it, you can shuffle 2 or 3 Monarch spell or trap, something like that, and draw a card, I believe. So that's really good. And then one Erupt. I was playing it at like 2 to 3, but I finally just knocked it down to 1 until Pantheism comes back to 2 or 3, because I just kept bricking on it. And I just didn't really like bricking on it because it's good, because it turns off all monster effects except for tribute summon monsters. But if you have Majesty Fiend on the field, it's kind of like it's the same thing, just not a trap. I don't know. But yeah, that is my Domain Monarch deck. I hope you guys liked it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.